Welcome to Chita Diaries. It is hot today. Like, first of all, it's like I'm filming late again. I was bumming the whole weekend. Hopefully, there's no like wind on the mic, but it's very hot. It's very, very hot. But like I said, welcome to Chita Diaries. If you're new, welcome to this video. For my oldies, happy what? This is going out tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Monday. Happy Monday for those of you watching in real time. And yes, today is my last video of my February Chita Chat series. If you're new here, I just did a video about, not a video, sorry. Like the heat, give me a second. I'm getting there. I did a series this month in honor of the month of love, February, etc. whatnot. And I was making videos from the perspective of a Zambian woman. I thought we'd just chat, discuss, I would give tips, advice, opinions, unsolicited, of course, here and there. And today is the final video in this February series. And I thought I would just talk about myself. Since I've been giving people unsolicited advice for an entire month, I might as well end with my own experience and, yeah, like where I want to go forward. So, the title of this video is Saying Goodbye to My Type. And I would just touch on the types of people I have been attracted to over the years, like from as far back as when I began to have crushes on boys. I've always had this theme of being very, very shallow. Like, I can admit that. Like, I'm a very, very shallow person when it comes to what I am attracted to, but I've been working on it, growth. And yeah, like I've always liked men and even boys at some point who are conventionally attractive. So in a very, very superficial way. So my type for the longest time physically was tall, muscular, like the whole conventionally cute thing going on for them. I've always been drawn to that. Always. And maybe it's because I grew up in Disney's golden age. Like I was born in 1992, so we all grew up on Disney movies or animations. And I saw this TikTok about, are you a Disney, Nickelodeon, or Cartoon Network kid? And I was like, I am definitely not a Disney kid. But if you think about it, like we did grow up with, Disney animation. So those animations basically raised a whole generation of superficial women and men. But yeah, I digress. Um, this video, like I said, is just me breaking down some of the types that I've had in the past and how they have been detrimental to me and how I have said goodbye to them, or I'm trying to say goodbye to them for the better, for my own peace of mind, for my own mental health, etc. And the first type, so like I said, overarchingly, it's always been conventionally attractive men. Like that's been my thing. But there have been some other things. So the first one being, I've always liked older guys. I don't want to say older men because older men just sounds like I'm talking about senior citizens, but I'm not. No, like I'm not talking about people's dads. No, but I've always liked people that were older. It could be 5 to 10 to even 15 years older. And when I was younger, I thought it was kind of cool. Of course, there were people who gave me the creeps. I was like, okay, this is giving pedophile energy, but I'm talking about where, especially after I turned 18, 19, my early 20s, like I was in it. Like I always felt really, really attracted to guys who are older, like 5 to 10, 15 years older, like I've said. And at the time, I thought I was smart enough. I thought I was just mature for my age. Like everybody who is into older guys just assumes that they're mature for their age and they connect more with older men. But now that I'm 30, soon to be 31, you guys, like, I'm hanging out with men who are my age. Some of them are friends, some of them are acquaintances. And when I interact with them and I find out that some of them are courting people who are like 19, 20, or 21, or I meet said 19, 20, or 21-year-olds, it's actually really, really, what's this moth doing here? It's really, really appalling. I actually I genuinely get grossed out. And I think back to the time when I was 19, 20, 21, 22, thinking I was smart enough to know what I was doing. Like I had one friend, like God rest her soul, like may she rest in peace. Like she was the one person who would like slap some sense, okay, not physically slap sense, but you know what I mean? Like she would mentally try and slap sense into me. Like you are not as mature as you think you are. You're not as mature as you think you are. And yes, they now that I'm older, like I'm looking at the people around me, people who are my age or even older, who go after girls or women who are in their late teens or early 20s. And again, like I said, the discussions that I have here are discussions that I have with my friends, my best friends, and my sisters, if they ever watch this. Like, it's always men who have failed to find women in their age group. Like, women their age don't like them or don't tolerate them, or there's just something about them that is extremely off putting or immature or just, but you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's all of them, but a good number of them. Like, if you're at a wave that like you're in your 30s or your 40s and you want to date somebody who is 21 or 22, it's always an issue where it's people who want to be very, very manipulative and very controlling. Because at that age, again, like I said, at that age, you are not as smart as you think you are. Like you might be smart, you might be mature, but you have not lived. Trust me, you have not lived life yet the way they have. Of course, living in a capital city like Lusaka, like it's something else that I've always joked about. Like Lusaka ages you. You could be 25 and could have lived the life of a 40-year-old in a small town. Like, yes, like you end up living, but like still, age 19, 20, 20, like you haven't yet lived yet. And these men know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Like, that's why it made so much sense to me when I was younger. Like, I would feel, by the way, I'm not saying I was like moving around with older men. My mom watches these videos. Don't worry. I'm just saying I would socialize or interact with people and enjoy those interactions with people who are a lot older than me. And it's like it's because they know what they're doing, like they've lived and they know what somebody your age would be into as they're trying to lure you in. And most of the time, it's not because they're intrigued by you, they like you, they just want you for your body. But you don't know that, or you don't see it at the end. Or maybe some of you do, but for the most part, you might think you're having this genuine connection with somebody when it's, yeah, they just want you for your body. So that's something that, like I just held on to and I justified it, like it made perfect sense. But now that I'm older, I realize that it's really, really scary how people who are like way, way, way older. Okay, now that I'm 30, like I feel like I'm a fully grown woman and I still have some growing up to do. I feel like a 50-year-old dating a 30, again, like it's a conversation that I have with my best friend. Someone who's 50 dating somebody who's 30 is kind of okay. Like you're grown now. You're a grown woman. Like no one can walk all over you for the most part. But a 40-year-old dating a 20-year-old, like that's creepy. That's really like a 30-year-old dating even an 18-year-old because people wait for you until you're 18. Like I won't even touch on grooming in this video. It's very creepy because you like when was the last time you hang out with an 18-year-old? Like if you're my age. Like they have no business dating somebody who's 30 and be in a relationship where there isn't this like really, really bad power dynamic going on. You know what I mean? So yeah, now that I'm older, I've realized that if I could go back in time, it was extremely predatory behavior that these men were, you know, showing or just acting out on. So yeah, not that I'm 30, I feel like I'm finally at an age where I can interact and socialize with men my age. Like they finally grown up. They're finally mature enough where I can interact with them and it's like it's good and it's flowing and yeah, like I can relate to them. First of all, like I could not relate with older people when I was 20. I like they just made me think that I was. So yeah, like that's one thing I had to shake off. Like being with much older men is just it's in my experience, and now that I'm older, like I personally don't want that for myself. I know like I no longer feel comfortable with being somebody who's 10, 15 years older than me. No. So sometimes it works out. Like sometimes it works out, it honestly does. Uh but for myself, I'm just like no. It's a bit of a yeah, it's it's not even it will not be a partnership. I feel like yeah, the older person will always kind of bully you. So that's something that I've shaken off. The second type of toxic person that I have had to say goodbye to, and this is something that I really, really had to work on, and I'm still working on it for the most part, was emotionally damaged men. Like those are like they were like my kryptonite, you guys. They were like my kryptonite. And it's because I was an emotionally, kind of still I'm working on it, damaged person. Like I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest. And like I would find so much comfort in men like this in my early 20s and the like. And by the way, I haven't really dated a lot, but I would still, I don't know, like I would have friendships or court people where there was just this mutual thing that was going on. Yeah, like I was somebody who, yeah, I was that perpetual friend zone. But yes, but still, I would, and just because I wasn't physically dating these people doesn't mean that I wasn't having full blown like emotional relationships with them that were, still toxic and had an effect on my life. So yeah, that's just the second type of person that I had to say goodbye to. And honestly, that is also something else that I justified for many, many, many years. And it made so much sense to me because I would always say it's exhausting finding somebody who has their act together, like they're well, they don't have any major trauma in their life. Because I would meet them and I'd always feel like I would need to have my guard up. But then I would find these fellow broken people, damaged people, and I felt so much comfort and peace because I didn't have to have my guard up. Like I was in this safe space where I didn't have to pretend. We could open each other's wounds to each other and just talk about how messed up life is. And I just liked to drown in that for some reason. And I wasn't even the type of woman who, because I know there's the, what's it called, the broken wing syndrome, where there's women who are attracted to men who are just broken because they feel like they can fix them. Like, but like that's their kryptonite. Like they love finding people who are broken because they want to fix them. Like they just feel that they have the power to fix somebody, which in itself is problematic. I wasn't even that sort of person who was trying to find somebody to fix. I was just trying to find somebody in a very misery loves company way. And something I can tell you now, as a 31. By the way, I know I have been hyping myself as somebody who is so old and wise, but I feel like at least I've come to a certain point in my life where I've lived enough to know better. I have a lot more learning to do, but I've also learned quite a bit. And let me tell you this. But like I'm so happy that I'm at a place now where I can recognize that this is problematic. How I've even managed to come out of that mindset. I honestly feel like that whole frontal lobe thing finally forming it happened later on in life because I would justify why I liked being in such relationships for a very, very long time. Again, it may not have been like physical or anything, but I was in full blown friendships or emotional relationships with people that were not good for me. And yes, when you're in that, like there is no room for growth because you're so comfortable with being in a very like damaged situation. Like you don't want to heal, you don't want to get better, you don't even want to get help. So you continue to drown with that person and it's never good. Like you can't be with somebody who has a lot of issues. And then worse off, you also have issues. Like it never works out in the long run. Like it might seem nice in the interim, but yeah, trust me, like in the long term, it just like it's never a good thing. It becomes self-destructive, and then you're just being self-destructive together. And it's either you continue to drown together or one person decides to heal or get help and then they leave. But it's very rare that two people will decide to get their act together and heal and just be better together. It's either both of you continue to drown or one person gets their act together and leaves. And if you're the one who stays behind, which was the situation for me at some point. Like it's just like it's a mess. It's a mess, but now that I'm older and I realize that what I hyped was extremely bad for me. By the way, I this might seem like TMI for a lot of people, but I'm just like you know what? We'll be talking about relationships this entire month. I might as well be honest about myself as well. And hopefully you appreciate this video because it's the last one that we're doing this month or even ever. Unless I have like a life update one day. But yeah, this is it. And yeah, like I've thankfully come out of that mentality. I have been working on myself a lot and just trying to like pull myself out of that pit of just being so comfortable in like misery and pain. And this is the thing, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has had something happen to them. Everybody is struggling in a certain way. But the way in which I was comfortable in it and just enabled it within myself and some of the people that I had relationships with, it wasn't healthy. And I don't want it to be in unhealthy relationships going forward. So yeah, that's something I have had to grow out of. It's very, very difficult. I can tell you that. Like once you're in it and you're in that mentality, like you feel like you can never leave, you never want to leave because it's more uncomfortable coming out of it than it is staying in it. But thankfully, I have been working really hard. And I think like two of my sisters who yeah, like I talked to a lot. By the way, I have four sisters and okay, but two are the ones who are closer. They're like so like my immediate older sister, I mean my immediate younger sister. I guess we kind of bond more in these sort of topics, if that makes sense. Yeah, like they can attest the fact of how like like I have been trying really, really, really hard. Like I might find somebody they're broken, I'll just be like, oh, like like I'll get tempted. I'll feel that attraction, but I have been like yeah, I've been holding myself back because I've realized that that's not good for me and I'm not going down that path ever again. At least I'm actively trying to like really, really hard. Yes. So that's the second type of person who I have said goodbye to. And then the third type of person that I have, well, not really said goodbye to, because I don't even think I necessarily ever gave this type of person a chance. But they did have like a hold on me emotionally, and they messed with my self-esteem, and I would explain further. If you watched last week's video, by the way, I talked about how can we dead relationships. I think that's the term I use. It's like can we dead relationships with people who are not proud of us in public. Let me tell you, I was talking about myself. That was not a general statement. I was talking about myself. Again, in my early 20s, it was so wild. It was, I feel like 25, if I can say 26 going up, I have done a lot of work personally because I did go through this phase where I think even throughout my teen years, my early 20s to mid 20s, where I would get attracted to people, right? Give them my time of the day. And it was always people who I liked more than they liked me. And I don't know why I would force it. And then sometimes like they would just show me who they were. Or even before we ever entered into like a full blown relationship. Because like I said, like I've pretty much been single my entire life with a few shenanigans here and there. But for the most part I've been single. But it would never get to a point where I don't know how to explain it, but at least it fine. It happened once where it ended up being a whole full blown situationship. But for the most part, I would interact with people, I really really like them, and then realize that I was not their person. Like I was very willing to make them my person, but I was not their person. And I kept falling into that trap over and over again. And then it got to a point where it was really messing with my self esteem because I would see people around me who like would literally be taken on dates. You guys, like I was the queen of Netflix and chill before we even had Netflix. Like that was me. And I was so happy and content with it. And I had a friend who, like, of course, years later when I snapped out of it, like we would laugh about how like we like, hey, like we really sold ourselves short back then. Like we were the cool girls, as people on TikTok say, where you're so low maintenance and people just take you for granted. Like I would have friends be taken out on dates. Like they had men who are willing to fight for them, like fight for them to just show them the world. Of course, I'm not saying if somebody shows you the world, then it's guaranteed that they'll be good to you. Like people are shown to the world and still cheated on, you know what I mean? But still, like, it does really, really mess with your self-esteem if the only thing you're being offered is a side chick ness or side chick ship. That was the only ship that was being offered to me and some of my friends. I would think back as to how wild that was, because like we had friends who were just, you know, always at the forefront. Like people, like guys are willing to fight for them, they're willing to woo them and everything, and we were just like toys. Like we're literally like toys. And then sometimes I think it got to a point where I think we just gave up. And for some people are just like, like we like them, they kind of like us, even though they made it very clear that uh they wouldn't again fight for fight for us. Okay, I don't know if fight is the right word to use, but some of you catch my drift. That level of insecurity and low self-esteem, again, is something that I had to drag myself out of. And it's so wild. Like, it's so wild as to how sometimes we let that happen to ourselves. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, that's another type of person who I had to let go of. And again, I know it might be shocking for some of you. Like some of you might be looking at me. Some of you who just know me from the internet might be surprised that the whole Chita Diaries is admitting to this. But everybody goes through it. I honestly went through a phase in my early 20s when I had very, very, very low self-esteem, and I thought I didn't deserve certain things. But no, I had to grow out of that. So that's a type that I've gotten rid of. Men that gaslight you into thinking you're not worth, I don't know, like you're not worth the respect that you deserve. And you know that saying of you accept what you think you deserve? I honestly think it's true. It's true. Like you tolerate, like if you're in a bad situation, okay, of course, fine. Let me not go there. I thought I was about to say, I'll stop myself. But to a certain extent, um, sometimes you get what you tolerate. I'm not talking about essay, like sexual abuse or anything. Like, of course, nobody deserves that. But like certain level of like toxic relationships that you can come out of, like if you stay there or you accept it, sometimes it's because you think that's what you deserve. And I have thankfully fought really hard to come out of that mentality or mind space of insecurity that I was in my early 20s, and I have put my foot down. And I'm not even asking for much, okay? I'm asking for the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is just a level of respect. And anyways, like I've talked about everything in the last 3 videos of what, like you can basically figure out what I want in a partner from the last 3 videos that I've, you know, had. So I want to expand on that. But I've worked really, really hard, really, really hard to get to a point where I drag myself out of that mentality of being insecure. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want this video to be more than 30 minutes. So yeah, that's like pretty much it with these February videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. And to conclude, because like we've been talking about relationships and partnerships and whatnot, I am somebody who's been very, very comfortable with being single for a very, 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 very long time. And I've done videos about this in the past, like even before this series. I think I did like one video about why I'm single. It was kind of cringe. Like when I think I've re-listened to it because it was more like a podcast video. I've re-listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times since I did it in like 20, I don't know, 18 or something. And it's kind of cringe. But my heart was in the right place when I made that video. And even to this day, I am very, very, very comfortable and confident with where I am at as a single woman in my 30s. I know lots of my family, lots of my friends want me to get married and have kids and settle down, as they put it, have a companion and the like, but for a very, very long time, I've been chill. I've been okay with the way I am. And the older that I've gotten, and the more that I've been able to look back on some of the decisions that I've made in the past, the more confident and happy I am with the decision that I'm making right now with just being alone. Like being in a relationship, like it's not a priority for me, and I am not lonely. and I'm also not alone. Sometimes I like to say I'm alone but not lonely, because it's a very simple way to put it, but I really am not alone. I am not alone. I have family and friends, and I'm not just saying that out of like self pity or self soothing one. Like, it's actually the truth. If I end up like this 10, 20, 30 years from now, if I live that long, I would be perfectly content with the cute life that I would have made for myself. Because I do have a very, very fulfilling life without a partner. Yeah, without a partner, I'm not yet in a position where I desire to have children, and something that I feel is very important to add. If I'm somebody who wanted kids, of course I'll be going about it very differently, because women do have like a biological clock and everything. But currently, it's not something that I desire. I'm perfectly okay with it. I don't currently feel the need to have kids of my own, and it's perfectly fine. I know if my mom is watching this, she's just like, God forbid. I know. But like, I am content with the way I am. Like, I have nieces and nephews from my siblings. I have younger brothers and a younger sister. I'm sure one day they'll give me more nieces and nephews. I have best friends that have given me nieces and nephews. Like in fact, there are like a lot. They're almost too many, but I love all of them. Like, I am overwhelmed with such, like, like love and affection for my nieces and nephews in the kids department, and the whole companionship with a husband and a boyfriend. Like, it's not something that I like deeply, deeply desire. If I did, I would actively work on it. I would actively work on it and find somebody. So I hope you don't feel like everything that I've said in the last 3 videos should be like nullified and everything. Like, there's certain things that I truly, truly value, that I really, really want, and I'm working towards them. It may be financial decisions for my future, how I want to live in the next 10 years, the next 20 years, is something that I truly, truly, truly want, like financially. So I'm actively, working, like I'm making moves in my life towards that. I'm very, very intentional about things it could even be things that I want in the near future, like the type of life that I want to live. I'm actively working towards that. I'm truly believing in it through prayer, hard work, whatnot, manifesting. Like, I'm working towards that actively. But the fact that I don't deeply desire marriage, like, yeah, I'm not fighting too hard to go after certain things. But everything that I said in the previous video, like, if I got to a point where I really, really wanted that, I would use my own advice, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm also not saying that I've completely cancelled out marriage. I'm somebody who is open to it, but it's not something that is consuming me, where I'm just like, I need to be in a relationship. I'm very, very happy with where I am. And I don't want anybody watching this, because I do get DMs. I've been getting DMs even outside of talking about relationship. In fact, this is the first time I've ever opened up and talked about relationship stuff, apart from my Why Am I Being Single video. I do get unsolicited DMs, and even just people who know me in real life. It could be at work, it could be just people who know me in my real life. Like, it's, please, men who are watching this, if a woman is single, like, if they haven't made it explicitly clear or given you any signals that they want you, like, just leave them alone. Like, leave us alone. Because some men take it as a challenge, and it's so annoying when people in my real life, or people who just want to come into my DMs, think like they've seen me, I'm single, and they just think it's a challenge that they need to embark on because they think they'll win. Like, no. Just stay where you are, I beg. But yeah, if at all. What was I even saying? I was saying I'm open. Oh, yes, I was saying, even though I'm content with being single, I am open to relationships. If it happens, I meet somebody, we vibe, the connection is there, I like them back, and I feel like they're good for me. Like, yes, I'm not going to say no. Like, I've told myself, if it happens, well and good. If it doesn't, I'm also okay. I'm also okay. And yeah, I think I will end this video here. Thank you so very much for having followed me on this February series. If at all you've watched my videos, like, and if you've gotten this far, I know not everybody commented. Like, I don't know, like, just so I know that you actually enjoyed it. you can leave a heart emoji, like a red heart emoji in the comments. Like that's it. Like that's all I want from you. But yes, thank you so very much for having come along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I will take a break from my channel though. Like yeah, March is going to be a bit of a busy month for me. The whole of February, like literally, I have not left the town that I live. Like I've been home every single weekend in February, and that's why I could film videos. I don't want to promise anything in March, so you probably won't see me for a couple of weeks. I might post at some point towards the end of March, but I just thought I should say that for those of you who follow my channel. But yeah, thank you so very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.